witchlets. Today we are going to make an item from this book. This is the Imbolc book from Llewellyn's Sabbat Essentials. And this is not how I make incense. I make loose incense, and I have them, I actually have one for every Sabbat except for one, and I think that's Ostara that I don't have because I'm missing a couple items that I keep forgetting to order to make it. But so the incense that's in my shop is not this incense. This incense is completely different, but it's one that I feel comfortable showing you how to make, because you can use this for your Imbolc rituals. It's a good thing I don't really need that anymore. But this is going to take a lot of work. This is a lot more work than I put into my incenses. When I make incense, I'm using raw ingredients because you're going to burn it on a charcoal disc. This will also get burned on a charcoal disc. This just takes longer to dry out because you're actually going to use some honey to make everything stick together. I mean, we can discuss the merits of doing it this way versus throwing together resins and dried flowers and such, but this is what we're going to do today. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So what you're going to need is you are either going to need basil powder and cedarwood powder, or you're gonna have to make it yourself. And obviously, I'm sitting here with my handy dandy little mortar and pestle, which means I have to make this myself because I don't have these things in powdered format. I just recently got, basil in a living format. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna drop some cedar wood in here. You want to make sure that your cedar wood is very dry. I know that this is very dry because I've had it for a while. And if you have like a coffee grinder, that would be better to use because this is really going to take a long time to grind down to a powder using a mortar and pestle. So what I'm going to do is get this started, and then I will come back once this is done, and once we have the basil also ground into a powder, and then we'll go from there, and I'll show you how to combine everything and what to do. All right, so we're back. We ended up, and by we I mean cameraman Ken, ended up cutting all of the cedar chips by hand with a pair of scissors. Bless his heart and his poor fingers. So as I was reading over this recipe, it was like you can use cedar chips, just get them as finely ground as you can. And I used 2 different devices to grind them, and it didn't work. So that's why we ended up doing it by hand. So it's probably a little bit chunkier than it should be, but we're gonna go with it and stuff. Once again, this is not really the incense that I would personally use and make for Imbolc. This is what I currently have that is actually available in my store for incense. It is mint, cinnamon, and angelica root loose incense that I made for Imbolc. This is just a weird way of doing incense to me, but we're gonna do it because it's always nice to try different things. So what I'm doing right now is I am mixing 1 teaspoon of the ground / powdered basil with 5 teaspoons of the cedar. So that's your ratio for basil to cedar. And I don't have any craft sticks, so I'm just using a chopstick. And then you're going to add honey, like just a few drops of honey, and because you don't need a lot of it, you're just trying to get this to stick together in a ball, so to speak. So you don't want to use a lot, you you want just enough to make everything stick together in a ball. So I'm clearly gonna have to add more honey here. And you wanna do this, so if this is something that you actually want to use for your Imbolc rituals or whatever, you need to make this pretty much today while you're watching this video, because you have to let it dry out, which takes at least a week, sometimes upwards of 2 weeks, depending on how much honey you have used. And Imbolc, again, is February 1st and or 2nd, depending on how you celebrate. And that is in that is 2 weeks from, that's 2 weeks from the day I'm recording it, recording this video. So you will have just enough time to make this and get it together. Okay. This is the oh so scientific way of doing this, of just, you know, mixing and then adding more honey as needed. So what you're gonna do is you're going to get this to combine together into a ball. Okay, set that down. Yep, we're doing my favorite thing, getting stuff under my nails. Again, you don't want it too moist, but you do want it to stick together. This needs a bit more. Yay, look at that. Favorite stuff right there. This is why I don't make incense this way, because it's gross. But apparently it's really rewarding when you burn it. I don't know. We'll find out. My personal use for this, I think, is going to be to burn while I do my cleaning for Imbolc. Imbolc is kind of interesting in that it's different things to different people. Like, there's no right or wrong way of celebrating Imbolc. I mean, if you follow the Celtic religions, it's a celebration of Brigid, who is the goddess of fire. So there's a lot of fire rituals that you can do. But you can also, and of course it's the celebration of like the firstlings that are coming into the world, like the lambies and the baby cows that I can't remember what they're called, calves. I used to work on a dairy farm and I still can't remember, but you know, it's a celebration of those things, because it just means that we're coming out of the darkness of winter and heading into, this is still kind of dry. I mean, it's not, but it is, and it's kind of weird. Just add a touch more honey. So it's got all of those feelings attached to it, so to speak. This is really gross, guys. And it's also when people start doing their spring cleaning and start getting rid of their stuff from the winter months, so that when Ostara comes around in March for the vernal equinox. Did I mention this is gross? This is really gross. Cameraman Ken, I need you to open that baggie. Was not expecting my hands to be this gross. Thank you. So I'm gonna probably do some spring cleaning in the coming weeks, and probably the 2 days of Imbolc, and this will be what I burn. So you put that in a baggie, and then you put the baggie in the jar. I didn't plan ahead because I didn't think about the fact that I was gonna get my hands all gross. but you put the baggie in a jar and you seal it for at least a week, might take up to 2, depending on how humid and all that everything is. But that's basically the video today. Welcome to Kitchen Witchery and Other Spells. At least it smells good. When you go to burn it, you're just gonna pull off a little bit, like a pea-sized bit, and pop it on your charcoal and burn your charcoal, and go from there. So I really need to wash my hands and get stuff out from under my nails. So thank you guys for watching. If you liked what you saw, or were at least entertained, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. If you didn't like it, you weren't entertained, go ahead and hit the thumbs down button, but then ask yourself why you're here, because like this is not really an educational channel. This is really an entertainment channel. Make sure that if you are here that you hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that you know when my videos are coming out for you. And head over to Patreon as well, if you don't mind. Patreon.com/KWOS. I actually have videos that I do over there for my patrons. So like, I think it's the second level of patrons, so the second years, as they're called over there, is where you start getting a lot of the monthly patron-only videos that I have. And plus there's blogs that go with all of these videos. So you can read up on different things, like you can read up on why we're using cedar and basil and honey and stuff, and wonder why. This is really why I don't make resin-based incenses that, like, when the resin comes in like the sap form. No. I will use hardened resin because it doesn't do this to your hands. We'll see you next time.